Hello viewers, thank you for tuning in to the video. I am Replay, and in this video we're talking about Payday 2 Crime Wave Edition DLC. It's been almost a year since Crime Wave Edition has come out. Starting June 16th, there was a 1 year anniversary of Crime Wave Edition. And in all that time we've had a number of times that they've said that they would possibly have a deadline for DLC release, only to be pushed back further and further, and getting close to a year, still nothing, not even the simplest form of DLC has shown its face onto the consoles, with promises of some free DLC like jacket, $10 million in-game cash, a mask, and the Extreme Overkill pack. And when you look at what they said they were going to give for free, it's not really much, and it becomes not really worth it if you are a veteran to the game. Looking at what they say they'll give us for free, jacket, you would really hope that jacket would be for free if you know everything or enough about Payday 2 Crime Wave. That jacket is actually cut from Payday for the consoles. And it shows because he was a character in the game, yet being cut, he's not there. But it shows that he was supposed to be there because his audio remains in the files and is attached to Dragon's body. So anytime he points out a cloaker, shield, taser, or bulldozer, you hear Jacket's voice over Dragon's voice. And that just clear indication that not only were we cheated out of a few months of DLC before the game come out, we were cheated out of a DLC we should have already had in the game, but for some reason they cut it short, but who knows why. And as well as looking at the mask, money, and guns, the guns I believe are guns that I'm actually looking forward to in the game. Yeah, it's not much. I think it's 2 guns. As well as looking at the money and mask, those were the first 2 promised things that Crime Wave Edition heisters would get. And from a veteran's standpoint, the mask, in my opinion, yes, it looks really awesome. It's really cool that it's only for console heisters, so PC players can't get it. But the money, like I said, from a veteran standpoint, I'm V100. I have millions of dollars in my Payday account on the offshore and in wallet. So the 10 million in-game cash is nothing to me, as well as to many other people who have had Payday 2 Crime Wave since its release last June, as well as anyone who at any point had become 5100 or V100, and they could just keep making money. I can make that 10 million in 4 minutes. Me and my friends who played this have determined that we can make it in 4 minutes by ECM rushing Shadow Raid. So 10 million is nothing to me when I can make it in 4 minutes, as well as I have millions sitting in my safe house ready to go, but nothing to spend it on. So the money is an insult. The mask is okay, but it's not enough. Jacket, it better be for free. They expect us to pay $2 or $3 for a piece of cut content. That's stupid. And the Overkill pack, the only reason the Extreme Overkill pack exists is because the game did not come out before the Extremely Overkill pack came out, because it was a 1 month only release thing done for PC players. And if we had actually had the game and they had been producing content for consoles, we would have been involved in it too. But since it was a 1 month only, never show up again thing, we'll get that free pass of getting these guns that otherwise, if you missed it on PC, you'd never be able to get it again, I think. So it's not that good of a free loot drop. I think throw in a heist or two as free would be good too, because I look forward to the Golden Grin the most so far. So throw in the Golden Grin heist as a free DLC also. Maybe I'll actually accept that your crappy little DLC bribes for thank you for hanging in there, we apologize, blah 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 BS for a whole year. I might actually accept it, but it's not much that's worth having. Most of it isn't obvious, and the remainder is an insult. But looking at that, they've went a long time without telling console heisters really anything as to their progress on DLC for the consoles. And at some point they decided to start doing status updates, claiming to be only a week to 2 weeks, and it turned out they would literally do it every 2 weeks, with about the entire month of December giving us no status updates. So we're kind of left hanging and wondering why we can't get at least one status update before the end of the year, but nothing. And then status updates started about sometime January all the way up to recently, where they said they would no longer give console heisters status updates until the next status update that they would give us would actually give us a release date for some DLC for us. When that's going to be, I don't know. But my slight prediction is, when I've heard or seen that Payday is on sale on the Steam for really cheap, that's usually right before, right after, or during, somewhere close to when new DLC comes out. Does the price drop for Payday 2. So with a recent trend last week of new players, because a huge, I believe with 80% off sale, where you get to buy Payday 2 Crime Wave Edition for the PlayStation 4. I'm not sure if it was for the Xbox One. If they did, they definitely sold it at cheap price on both consoles. But it was on a major sale for $12.99 on the PlayStation Store, which gives one slight sign, nothing guaranteed though, that DLC could be coming soon. And with that in mind, their recent announcement that they're not going to say anything to us until they say a release date, I'd really hope within a month they'd at least give us a release date. And I probably wouldn't care if they say you have to wait another month before you get something. At least I'll know a goddamn release date. And if they fail to achieve their goal of getting something out on that release date, then they seriously need to reevaluate what the heck they're doing. But looking at all that, a year of waiting for DLC, all the DLC that has passed us since the launch of Crime Wave Edition, as well as some DLC, both paid and free content, have been cut back on us. Looking at Jacket, he had been cut from us. There is only one DLC that was released around the same time as Jacket, and I believe it was just more modifications for the AK and car guns. It was the Butcher's AK and car pack and Jacket. After that was some other Western gun pack and a character. A couple other things were released between February of the Jacket pack and the release date of Crime Wave that we have missed, and they could not program it into the game in time, I guess. Now, what was released between February and June of 2015, I can understand the 2 heists that was released between that timeline being gone. but the guns themselves should have been into the game, the Western pack and all that. So they're kind of slacking so far behind that we're missing content from before the game was released. Let alone, especially an entire year's worth of DLC after the release we have not gotten yet, and they can't even do the simplest thing as to give us the money and mask and cut content, jacket and guns. For some reason, that's maybe a few gigabytes. They can't produce 2 to 4 gigabytes out of all this time to at least give us that for a start. And they've even had a number of times they could easily throw Crime Wave Edition players into their first DLC by introducing them to holiday and special event heists. I've predicted a number of times throughout the past year that they could easily have Crime Wave Edition players jump in during the hype train, jump in during the actual event itself, where people had to do certain things, kill this many cloakers or whatever to unlock something and get these special rewards for free. They could have thrown us on that. There's more opportunities. They could have thrown us in, started us off on Halloween with the new DLC where you're shrunk down and you gotta cook giant batches of meth and break them up and all that. They could have done that. They could have introduced us on Christmas, but we got nothing on Christmas, especially not even an update. There's a number of times they could have brought us into DLC by bringing us through an event that is meant to hype everyone. But they didn't do anything. They just keep putting it off. I believe half the crap or more that they say is excuses for the sake of stalling and not completely ticking off everybody. Maybe some to most, but not all. Which is really stupid. And now that they stopped, them having a small stop period of saying nothing, plus the on sale, Payday on sale for $12.99. There's that possibility it could come out in a month or two, but after so long of waiting and hoping, I'm not really holding my breath to that because it just seems stupid at this point. So after a year of Payday 2 Crime Wave, I've actually stopped playing it a long time. Had to recently start playing it to at least get some footage for this video. And I've learned that after being away so long, the mechanics and the way you run and walk, and it's really hard for me to do after not playing it for a long time. Because I have no incentive to play it, because Overkill can't keep up with producing and getting DLC distributed out to Crime Wave Edition over the past year. And we can only hope at this point that they just give us DLC. When, I don't know. But if it literally becomes until the end of the year, if they somehow go through an entire another year of we will give you DLC and never deliver, then they seriously need to just abandon maybe and apologize with a refund. If at any point they say we're just not going to do it for consoles, they need to give everyone who bought a copy, digital copy or hard copy, need to give them their money back. Don't be a complete jerk about it and give them their money back, because you put them through 2 years of waiting and got nothing out of it. Just kept feeding us lies and nothing. So what's the deal, Overkill? I seriously hope that something does come in soon. But I'm not holding my breath, because who knows with you guys. I can't believe it takes however this long since you announced the mask and money. I can't believe it takes from that point to now to not even have it done yet. It's a mask. I'm pretty sure the mask and money total is a few hundred megabytes. You can't even produce a few hundred megabytes for the consoles. to give us the mask and money, let alone any gigabyte data at all for any heist that has existed for a year. The Alesso and the Golden Grin, for example, been about a year that they've existed. We don't even have that, let alone 100 megabyte mask or however much memory it'll take up. They can't even do that. And they said in one video that they hired more people or whatever to specifically focus on consoles. Either the line or the people they hired suck really bad at producing content for a console, because it takes them a really long time to make a mask for the consoles, let alone any DLC is ported over from Steam or reproduced from different coding from a PC to a console code so we can actually play it. We got nothing, and that's just kind of stupid. So you can only say maybe they'll give us something, and it'll actually be worth it if it'd be soon. The only other thing I could say is the last thing that they could possibly do to introduce us to DLC at a good time is on or close to the anniversary of Crime Wave Edition. So anywhere between now and June 16th would be a perfect time to, like, oh, you've waited for a year, here it finally is, some DLC, and hopefully a few 10 to 20 megabytes of properly coded DLC with little to no glitches to it, since they had this goddamn long to produce any of it for us. But that's my thoughts, and I'm pretty sure that wouldn't happen at all anywhere between now and June 16th. Any piece of content coming out for consoles, although it'd be a perfect time. Happy 1 year anniversary Crime Wave. Here's some DLC finally. But that's all I have to say. Huge stinking ramble, one of the biggest videos I ever made, especially for Payday. But there was always so much happened, so much collected in my head of how this is really making me mad that it's taken them this long to do anything, including even just give a mask, let alone the amount of DLC that keeps building up that they have to give us. But I think that's all I have to say, at least for now. I might complain another time. Thank you guys for listening to my really long ramble. Overkill, get your stuff together, and until next time, keep calm, game on.